You know, there isn't a day that goes by when I don't think to myself, what happens if Kamala had won? I know people say, well, there's no way. She could have won. She could have won. Do you understand what I'm saying? She actually could have won this thing, this nut, and followed by Pops, who's out of his mind. But here's the best one. Joe Biden, the guy who doesn't know where he is, who's walking around yelling, who ordered the veal cutlet? This guy with a, who, by the way, was nuts before he ran with that corn pop stuff. This isn't anything new. Now he's claiming he actually could have taken down Donald Trump if only he hadn't been pushed out by his own party. Well, 2020, what do you get, like 189 million votes? Okay, all right. So I don't know. Maybe he's speaking about something else. But Joe, with his stellar debate performance where he mumbled his way through answers like some confused relative at a family reunion. Are you kidding me? Is he serious? Now, apparently Biden and his coterie of lunatics have been whispering to their, quote, confidants, translation, anybody who will listen, that he was the real deal for a second term. But alas, this poor wizened dotard, this 82-year-old, this man who poster child for Depends, this man, this coot, hobbled by decrepitude. He, of course, was pressured by the Democratic Party to step down in July because, his poll numbers were tanking. So what did they do? Well, what he did was he did the ultimate double cross by picking Kamala, who never won anything, and it was perfect. I'm glad they did it. So instead of him just stepping down gracefully, realizing I made millions, nobody in his family is going to be he did it. He just looted the office instead of him just stepping down gracefully. Like the transitional president that he promised to be. Oh, no. Biden decides now to cling, I guess. And I think, if anything, it's probably Jill writing this. He doesn't care. He doesn't even know where he is. But he's now hanging on to power until he was basically dragged away. And again, when Kamala, whom he endorsed, was absolutely trounced, drubbed, destroyed, annihilated, decimated by Trump, who's now getting ready for his second term, a la Grover Cleveland, Biden's response was, oh, I'm not blaming her. No, of course not. Because that would mean admitting either his misjudgment or his double or something. Who knows? I mean, you can't listen to anything he says. This is the man who had the audacity to claim on The View, a show who exists. Why again? Get back with me on that. But anyway, this is a guy who said on The View that he was confident that he could beat Trump. He could beat him. Is this confidence? Is it delusion? Do you really think so? Is that a part of the symptomology of his insanity? And who could forget his interview? Remember that on CBS? Oh my God, where he threw Pelosi under the bus, saying she led the charge to oust him because he was a liability or something. Classic JoJo, always pointing that crooked, gnarled finger. And then there's the regret over not putting his name on those relief checks like Trump did. Oh, yeah, Joe. If only you had thought of that, your legacy would have been completely different. You know what I mean? We would have forgotten the screw-ups and the gaffes and the mistakes and the apologies and the screwing up and everything else. Everything would have been great. And let's also not forget his complaints about Merrick Garland, whom he picked theoretically for Attorney General. Too slow on Trump, too harsh on Hunter. Sounds like someone who's upset that maybe his son didn't get off easy enough. I don't know. I can't figure this out. And in the end, Biden's legacy, and we're going to be talking about this forever, but Biden's legacy might just be remembered as the president who, despite all his talk and all his bluster and all his blather and all his nonsense, couldn't even finish the race he started, leaving a mess, an absolute mess for others. But the good news is, God, the grateful is that he's gone. It's behind us. And you have to ask yourself, how did it happen? And also the good news is, I don't want to hear anybody tell me anymore how Barack Obama had nothing to do with this. Barack Obama never wanted Joe Biden, never wanted him, and certainly never wanted her. Let me also tell you something. As great as Trump is, and as wonderful as Trump is, and I voted for him, Steve Bannon notwithstanding, if Gavin Newsom, who will be the Democratic nominee in 2028, guaranteed, and underestimate him to or at your peril, but were it not for him, excuse me, had he been the nominee, I don't know. But look, I don't care how it happened. We dodged a bullet. Trump literally dodged a bullet. So, Joe, do yourself a favor. Take your millions squirreled away and go. Do we ever find out about all of that information, all those files in his garage? Anybody ever go back to find out what they are? Especially the ones that were kept at the Chinese run, whatever this particular thing was. No, we know nothing about that. We know nothing about that. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you believe in God, thank God that President Trump was not hurt. Thank God that he won. And thank God that for some particular reason we have a second chance. A second chance. That may be fixing. And as James Woods, the actor, said, I think it makes sense. Not to make America great again, but to make America America again. What do you think, my friend? Comment as you see fit.